I'm sitting in the glass-walled conference room, trying to keep my hands steady. My boss, Richard Chen, is presenting my idea to the executive team. My stomach twists as I watch him gesture at the slides I created last week. He's talking about his vision for a revolutionary project management tool that uses AI to predict team bottlenecks before they happen. Every word coming out of his mouth is mine. The concept, the features, even the name, flow state. I'd shown him my prototype 3 days ago in his office, excited and naive. He nodded thoughtfully, asked detailed questions, and promised to think about how we could integrate this into our roadmap. Now he's claiming it as his own brainchild. The VP of Product is nodding enthusiastically. Richard catches my eye for just a second, and I see the faintest smirk before he looks away. My chest tightens with anger and disbelief. I force myself to breathe slowly. Nobody knows that I've been building FlowState on my own time for 8 months. Nobody knows I've already filed a provisional patent under my name. And definitely, nobody knows about the trap I embedded in the code I showed Richard. My name is Alex Rivera, and I've been a senior developer at TechVault Solutions for 5 years. I started fresh out of college, eager to prove myself in the software world. Richard hired me personally, and for the first couple of years, he seemed like a decent mentor. He praised my work, gave me challenging projects, and even recommended me for a raise once. But things changed about 2 years ago when he divorced his wife. He became more competitive, more cutthroat. He started taking credit for team wins without acknowledging individual contributions. I watched him do it to others before it happened to me. Still, I stayed. The salary was good, the benefits were solid, and I told myself I was learning valuable skills. My real passion project, though, was FlowState. I worked on it every evening after dinner and on weekends. My girlfriend, Sophie, would bring me coffee and encourage me, even when I was exhausted. FlowState was going to be my ticket out of TechVault. I'd been preparing to launch it independently, maybe find some angel investors. Then Richard asked me what I was working on during a casual Friday afternoon chat. I made the biggest mistake of my career. I trusted him. The meeting ends with applause. Richard is beaming, shaking hands with executives who are already talking about timelines and market positioning. I slip out quietly, heading back to my desk. My hands are trembling as I sit down and stare at my monitor. Sophie texts me, "How did the presentation go?" I'd told her Richard wanted to see my prototype again. I hadn't mentioned the presentation because I didn't know about it until this morning. I type back, "He stole it. Presented it as his own." 3 dots appear, then disappear, then appear again. Finally, her message comes through. "What? Are you serious? What are you going to do?" That's the question, isn't it? I close my eyes and think about the trap I built into the demo code. It's subtle, hidden deep in a secondary authentication module. The code works perfectly for basic demonstrations, but there's a logic bomb waiting. If anyone tries to scale it or integrate it with real user data without the proper encryption keys, the whole system will lock down and display a very specific message. I smile slightly. Richard thinks he's won, but he has no idea what's coming. That evening, I met Sophie at our favorite coffee shop downtown. She's already there, sitting in the back corner with 2 steaming mugs. Her dark eyes are full of concern as I slide into the seat across from her. "Tell me everything," she says softly. I explain the whole situation. How Richard presented my idea, how the executives loved it, how nobody even glanced my way during the meeting. Sophie listens, her expression growing darker. "You need to report him," she says firmly. "Go to HR. Go to the CEO. This is theft." I shake my head. I tried that once before, remember? When Richard took credit for the security patch I developed. HR said it was a team effort, and that I should be glad to contribute to the company's success. Sophie's jaw tightens. She remembers. "So what's your plan?" I lean forward, lowering my voice even though we're alone in the corner. I left something in the code. A failsafe. When he tries to build on it, everything will fall apart. And when it does, I'll have proof that he stole from me. She studies my face. "Is that legal?" I grin. "It's my code. I'm just protecting my intellectual property." The next morning, Richard calls a team meeting. He's standing at the front of the room, radiating confidence. "We're launching a major initiative," he announces. "FlowState is going to revolutionize how companies manage projects. The executive team wants a working beta in 6 weeks." 6 weeks. My heart races. That's an aggressive timeline, even for a team of experienced developers. Richard gestures to me and 2 other senior developers, Priya and James. "You 3 will be the core team. Alex, since you're familiar with some similar concepts, you'll be the technical lead." I almost laugh out loud. He's putting me in charge of developing my own stolen idea. Priya and James are looking at me, waiting for a response. I nod slowly. "Sure, Richard. I'll do my best." He claps his hands together. "Excellent. I'll send over the specifications this afternoon. Let's make this happen." As everyone files out, Richard touches my shoulder. "I know you'll do great work on this, Alex. It's a big opportunity for you." I meet his eyes. Thanks for the chance to work on such an innovative idea. I spend the afternoon reviewing the specifications Richard sends over. They're nearly word for word from my original pitch document. He's even kept my sketches and wireframes. The audacity is breathtaking. Priya stops by my desk. "This FlowState thing is pretty cool. Did Richard come up with all of this himself?" I keep my voice neutral. "What do you think?" She tilts her head. "Honestly, it sounds too detailed for Richard. He usually thinks in big picture terms, not nitty-gritty features." I appreciate her intuition, but I can't tell her the truth yet. "Well, he's full of surprises," I say lightly. She doesn't look convinced, but she lets it drop. That evening, I pulled up my personal repository where the real FlowState code lives. The version I showed Richard was a simplified demo, functional enough to impress, but missing critical components. More importantly, I'd embedded a trigger that would activate if someone tried to reverse engineer or expand the authentication system without my private keys. I also document everything. Screenshots of my original files with timestamps, my patent application, emails to Sophie describing my progress months ago. I'm building an airtight case. Week 1 of the project moves quickly. Richard is breathing down our necks, demanding daily updates. He wants flashy features first, the AI prediction engine, the sleek dashboard, the real-time collaboration tools. I assign tasks carefully, making sure nothing critical gets built on top of the compromised authentication module yet. James, our back-end specialist, is brilliant but trusting. He takes Richard's vision at face value. Priya, however, keeps giving me strange looks. During a coffee break, she corners me in the break room. "Alex, can I ask you something?" I brace myself. "Sure. This authentication setup you're using, it's really unusual. Where did the original architecture come from?" I sip my coffee slowly. Richard provided some base code. Said it was from a consultant. She frowns. "It doesn't match any standard framework I've seen. It's actually really elegant, but strange." I shrug. Maybe the consultant was creative. She doesn't push further, but I can tell she's thinking. Priya's too smart. I'll need to be careful around her. Sophie and I are having dinner at my apartment when my phone buzzes. It's an email from Richard, sent to the whole team at 9 p.m. "Great progress, everyone. The executive team wants a demo next Friday. Let's show them something impressive." Next Friday. That's only 10 days away. I set down my fork, my appetite gone. Sophie reads the stress on my face. "What's wrong?" I showed her the email. She shakes her head. "He's pushing too hard. That's not enough time." "It is if we cut corners," I say quietly. "Which is exactly what he'll want us to do." Understanding dawns in her eyes. And cutting corners means they'll have to integrate with the authentication module sooner than planned. Means the trap gets triggered. Sophie looks worried. "Are you sure about this? What if it backfires? What if they blame you?" "I've thought about that. I have documentation, timestamps, a patent application. They can't pin this on me." She reaches across the table and takes my hand. "Just be careful, okay?" The pressure intensifies. Richard schedules twice daily check-ins, micromanaging every detail. He's clearly terrified of failing in front of the executives. During one meeting, he snaps at James for a minor bug, and I watch James's confidence crumble. After Richard storms out, I pull James aside. "Hey, don't let him get to you. That bug was minor, and you fixed it fast." James runs a hand through his hair. "I don't know, man. Richard's acting like this project is life or death. What's really going on?" I choose my words carefully. I think he promised the executives something big. Now he's feeling the heat. James nods slowly. "I guess. But something feels off about this whole thing." He's not wrong, but I can't say that. Let's just focus on building something solid. That's all we can control. That night, I checked my trap code again. It's still dormant, waiting. I designed it to trigger only when someone attempts to authenticate real users at scale, exactly what they'll need to do for the demo. By Wednesday, we're running on fumes. Richard wants the demo to include live user accounts, real-time notifications, and the AI prediction engine running actual scenarios. Priya pulls me aside after a particularly brutal meeting. "Alex, we need to talk." We step into an empty conference room. She closes the door and crosses her arms. Something's not right. I've been digging through the codebase, and I found something weird in the authentication module. There's I don't even know what to call it. A logic loop that doesn't make sense. My pulse quickens. "What do you mean?" She pulls out her laptop and shows me. She's found part of the trap, not all of it, but enough to raise questions. This code will cause a cascade failure if triggered under certain conditions. "Did you write this?" I meet her eyes. There's no point lying to Priya. "Yes. But I had a reason." Her expression hardens. "What reason?" I take a deep breath. "Because Richard stole this entire project from me. Flowstate is my idea, my design, my code. He took it and presented it as his own." Priya stares at me for a long moment. I can see her processing, evaluating. Finally, she sits down heavily. "Are you serious?" I nod. "I showed him my prototype 2 weeks ago. 3 days later, he presented it to the executives as his own concept. I have proof, timestamps, emails, a patent application." She closes her laptop. "So this trap, you're planning to expose him? When the demo fails, it'll be obvious the code isn't his. He won't be able to explain how to fix it because he doesn't understand it." Priya is quiet for a moment. Then, "James doesn't know?" "No. And I need it to stay that way for now." She considers this. "I should be angry. You're sabotaging the project." "I'm sabotaging Richard's theft," I correct. "The real flow state exists. It works perfectly. But Richard can't have it." She finally nods. "Okay. I won't say anything. But Alex, be ready for fallout. This could get ugly." "I know. I've been thinking about nothing else." Thursday arrives, and we're in crunch mode. Richard wants one final run-through before tomorrow's executive demo. We load the system with test accounts, simulating real usage patterns. Everything looks smooth, the dashboard updates correctly, notifications fire on time, the AI engine makes reasonable predictions. Richard is practically glowing. This is perfect. Tomorrow's going to be a huge win for us. I bite my tongue. James looks exhausted but satisfied. Priya catches my eye briefly, her expression unreadable. That evening, I stayed late at the office, ostensibly to do final checks. In reality, I'm verifying the trap is armed correctly. Tomorrow, when they try to scale up to the live demo with actual executive accounts, the authentication system will hit a threshold I designed. The system will lock down and display a message, "Unauthorized use detected. Contact original developer, A. Rivera." I also make sure my documentation is backed up in 3 separate locations. Tomorrow, everything changes. I drive home under dark skies, my stomach churning with anticipation and dread. Friday morning, I arrive at the office to find Richard in an unusually good mood. He's wearing his expensive suit, the one he saves for important meetings. "Big day, Alex." Are you ready? I nod. As ready as we'll be. The demo is scheduled for 10 a.m. Priya, James, and I set up in the main conference room, connecting laptops and testing the projector. Richard rehearses his talking points in the corner. At 9:55, the executives start filing in, the CEO, the VP of Product, the CFO, and several board members. Richard launches into his presentation with practiced confidence. He walks them through FlowState's features, explaining how it will revolutionize project management with AI-driven insights. I watch from the side, my heart pounding. Then comes the live demo. Richard gestures to me. Alex, why don't you show them the real-time functionality? I step forward, my hands surprisingly steady. This is it. I began creating demo accounts for the executives, using their actual email addresses as Richard requested. The system processes the first two without issue. Then I add the third account. The screen freezes. For a moment, there's just confusion. Richard's smile falters. Alex, what's happening? I click refresh, but the loading spinner just spins endlessly. Then the screen changes. In bold red letters across the dashboard, unauthorized use detected. Contact original developer, A. Rivera. The room goes silent. Every eye turns to me. Richard's face drains of color. The CEO leans forward, reading the message. A. Rivera? Isn't that your name, Alex? I take a breath and nod. Yes, sir. That's me. Richard sputters. This is some kind of error. Alex must have made a mistake in the code. But the VP of Product is staring at the screen, then at Richard. Why would Alex's name be in an authentication error message? Richard, you said you developed this concept. Richard's scrambling now. Well, I mean, Alex helped with implementation, but the core vision was mine, I interrupted quietly. The room's attention swings to me. My voice is steady as I continue. FlowState is my project. I've been developing it independently for 8 months. The CEO raises a hand. Hold on. Alex, are you saying you created this entire system? I pull out my phone and open my email. I have documentation. Time-stamped files, email correspondence, progress photos. I also filed a provisional patent 3 months ago. I can send all of it right now. Richard's face is red. This is ridiculous. Alex is just trying to take credit for company work. I look directly at him. Richard, do you even know what an authentication module is? He opens his mouth, then closes it. The VP of Product leans back in her chair, studying both of us. Richard, did Alex show you this project before? Richard hesitates too long. The CEO's expression darkens. Answer the question. Finally, Richard mutters, he showed me a prototype. But I thought it could be integrated into our company roadmap. Integrated. I say, my voice is sharper now. Or stolen. You presented my work as your own idea 3 days after I showed it to you. You didn't ask permission. You didn't credit me. You just took it. The silence in the room is deafening. The CFO speaks up. Alex, you said you have documentation? I nod. I'll forward everything to you right now. I send a mass email to everyone in the room. My original design documents dated months ago, screenshots of my code repository with timestamps, my patent application, even text messages to Sophie describing my progress. Priya, who's been silent this whole time, finally speaks. I can confirm the code architecture is highly unusual. When I reviewed it earlier this week, I found components that don't match any standard framework. Alex told me yesterday that Richard claimed it came from a consultant, but... She looks at Richard. There was no consultant, was there? Richard's jaw works, but no words come out. James looks between us, confused. Wait, so this whole thing is Alex's project? The CEO stands abruptly. Richard, my office. No. He looks at me. Alex, please stay. The rest of you, we'll reconvene later. As everyone files out, Richard shoots me a look of pure hatred. But he can't say anything. The proof is overwhelming. I'm sitting alone in the conference room for 20 minutes before the CEO returns with the VP of Product. They both look serious. The CEO sits across from me. Alex, I've reviewed your documentation. It's clear you developed FlowState independently. I'm sorry Richard put you in this position. Relief floods through me, but I stay cautious. Thank you, sir. The VP of Product leans forward. Here's the situation. Richard has been placed on immediate administrative leave pending an investigation. But we need to address FlowState. You said you built this on your own time. I nod. Entirely. I never used company resources or time. It's my intellectual property. She exchanges a glance with the CEO. We understand. However, TechVault is very interested in FlowState. Would you be open to a licensing arrangement? Or perhaps a separate division with you as the lead? I pause. This is the moment I've been preparing for. I appreciate the offer. But I think I'd prefer to develop FlowState independently. I have plans to launch it as my own startup. The CEO considers this. I can respect that. But Alex, you're a valuable employee. Losing you would be a significant blow. I choose my words carefully. I've enjoyed my time here, but after what happened with Richard, I'm not sure I can continue. Trust is hard to rebuild. The VP of Product nods slowly. Understandable. What if we offered you a severance package? A generous one, as an apology for Richard's conduct and to support your next venture. I meet their eyes. This is better than I'd hoped. I'd be open to discussing that. Over the next hour, we negotiate. They offer 6 months' salary, continued health benefits, and a formal letter acknowledging my intellectual property rights to FlowState. In exchange, I agree not to pursue legal action against TechVault and to provide a smooth transition. When we shake hands, I feel a weight lift. I'm finally free. As I pack up my laptop, Priya appears in the doorway. So, what happened? I smile. I'm leaving. Starting my own company. Her eyes widened. Seriously? That's amazing. She hesitates. If you ever need a developer. That evening, Sophie and I celebrated at our favorite restaurant. She raises her glass. To FlowState. And to you, for standing up to Richard. We clink glasses, and I feel genuinely happy for the first time in weeks. I still can't believe it worked, Sophie says. Your trap actually exposed him. I grin. Sometimes you have to protect your work creatively. She laughs, then turns serious. So what's next? You're really starting a company. I nod. I've got enough savings for a few months, plus the severance package. I'll use that time to finish building FlowState properly. Then I'll look for investors. Sophie reaches across the table. I believe in you, and I'm here to help however I can. Her support means everything. Over dessert, I start sketching out a timeline. 3 months to finalize the product, 1 month to prepare marketing materials, then launch. It's ambitious, but I've already done most of the hard work. My phone buzzes, a text from James. Heard what happened. That took guts. Respect. Next Monday, I officially leave TechVault. Richard is nowhere to be seen. Apparently, the investigation led to his termination. James and Priya walk me out, both looking genuinely sad. You were the best lead we ever had, James says. Priya hugs me. Stay in touch. And seriously, if you need help with FlowState. I promise to keep them in the loop. Walking out of the building for the last time, I feel lighter than I have in years. I'm done working for people who don't value me. Now, I'm working for myself. I spend the next week setting up a home office. Sophie helps me paint one wall blue, my favorite color, and we arrange my desk by the window. The light is perfect for long coding sessions. I print out my FlowState roadmap and pin it to the wall. Then I dive in. Without the constraints of TechVault's bureaucracy, I can build FlowState the way I always envisioned. I add features I'd been dreaming about, refine the AI algorithms, and polish the user interface. Every day feels purposeful. Sophie brings me coffee one morning and looks at my screen. It's beautiful, Alex. Really. 2 months in, I have a fully functional beta version. I reach out to my network, offering free trials to small companies in exchange for feedback. The response is overwhelming. Within 2 weeks, I have 30 teams testing FlowState, and the reviews are glowing. One CEO emails me, "This is exactly what we needed. How soon can we get the paid version?" I set up a simple pricing model, affordable for small teams, scalable for larger ones. By month 3, I have my first 10 paying customers. It's not enough to live on yet, but it's proof the concept works. Priya reaches out again. "Alex, I've been following your progress on LinkedIn. FlowState looks incredible. Are you hiring yet?" I video call her that evening. "I can't pay much right now, but if you're willing to take equity," her face lights up. "I'm in. Let me give my notice." 2 weeks later, Priya joined as my first official employee. We work side by side in my home office, tackling bugs and planning new features. Having her on board reminds me that good people still exist in this industry. 6 months after leaving TechVault, I'm invited to pitch FlowState at a startup conference. Sophie helps me prepare, timing my presentation and giving feedback. I'm nervous, but also excited. This is my chance to really launch. The conference room is packed with investors and entrepreneurs. I take the stage and tell my story, not the part about Richard, just the vision behind FlowState. I demo the live product, showing how it predicts bottlenecks and streamlines collaboration. The audience is engaged, asking smart questions. Afterward, 3 investors approached me. One of them, Elena Rostova from Crest Ventures, hands me her card. "I'd like to discuss funding. Your product solves a real problem, and you clearly know your market." We scheduled a meeting for the following week. When I tell Sophie, she screams with excitement. "Alex, this is it. This is really happening." I'm cautiously optimistic. Funding would mean hiring more developers, scaling faster, maybe even launching internationally. But I'm also wary after the Richard experience. I need investors who respect my vision. The meeting with Elena goes better than expected. She's done her homework, reviewed my user metrics, studied the competitive landscape, even talked to some of my beta customers. "Alex, I think FlowState has significant potential. I'd like to offer $500,000 in seed funding for 15% equity." I negotiated up to $600,000 for 12%, and she agrees. We shake hands, and I feel like I'm walking on air. With this funding, I can hire 3 more developers, a designer, and a part-time marketing person. FlowState is becoming a real company. Over the next few months, growth accelerates. We move into a small office space, just 4 desks and a coffee machine, but it's ours. Priya leads the development team. I focus on strategy and product vision. We hire carefully, looking for people who share our values of integrity and innovation. One day, I got an unexpected email. It's from Richard. The subject line reads, "Can we talk?" I stare at it for a long time before opening. Inside, he's written a brief message. "Alex, I know I wronged you. I was desperate and made terrible choices. I don't expect forgiveness, but I wanted to apologize." I showed the email to Sophie that night. She reads it, her expression skeptical. "Do you believe him?" I think about it. Maybe. Desperation makes people do stupid things. But that doesn't excuse what he did. She nods. "Are you going to respond?" I considered it for days. Part of me wants to ignore him completely. But another part remembers that Richard wasn't always terrible. He helped me early in my career, before his own insecurity consumed him. Finally, I write back, "Richard, I appreciate the apology. What you did was wrong, and it hurt. But I've moved on, and I hope you can learn from this. Take care." I keep it short, neutral. I'm not interested in rekindling any relationship, but I also don't want to carry anger forever. A week later, I hear through the grapevine that Richard is working at a smaller firm, in a non-management role. Maybe he's rebuilding his career. Maybe he's learned something. Either way, it's no longer my problem. FlowState continues to grow. We pass 100 paying customers, then 200. Revenue is climbing steadily. A year after leaving TechVault, I'm sitting in our office's tiny conference room with my team. We're celebrating our biggest milestone yet, a partnership with a Fortune 500 company that will use flow state across their entire project management division. It's a seven-figure deal. Priya raises her coffee mug in a toast to Alex for having the guts to walk away and build something better. Everyone cheers. I look around at the faces of people who believed in me, who took a risk on a startup with no guarantees. Thank you, I say quietly. All of you. This wouldn't exist without your support. Sophie, who's visiting for the celebration, squeezes my hand. You did this. You protected your work, stood up to theft, and built something incredible. As we wrap up the meeting, I think back to that conference room at Tech Vault where Richard stole my idea. I remember the rage, the helplessness, the determination to prove him wrong. That moment pushed me to protect myself, to fight back creatively, and ultimately to bet on my own vision. The trap I left wasn't just about exposing Richard. It was about defending the value of my work and refusing to let someone else define my worth. Now, sitting in my own company, surrounded by a team that respects and trusts me, I know it was all worth it. Flow state isn't just a product. It's proof that integrity and persistence win in the end. And that's a legacy worth building.